welcome to the Dits on Wrestling podcast, the Royal Navy's only pro wrestling pod, part of Project Dits, affiliates with the awesome superkicks.com, and we're dropping the last Draft That episode of 2020 for your ears right now, and I'm not doing it alone. Anthony is here, as always, my co-host, my first mate. How you doing, buddy?
Glorious, good,
Glorious.
feel good, glorious. Man, what happened to Bobby Roode? Well, I didn't think much was going to happen to him, but that's neither here nor there. I'm good. I'm excited to do this episode, but nervous as always because, the drafts are intense and strenuous for the mind.
Yes.
But I'm in good spirits. That is until we do this draft and you potentially take someone that will break my heart.
Ooh, I like what you did there.
Yeah.
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 Could I do it? I could do it. I could do it.
Yeah.
I could.
You could do it.
You could do
I
it.
could also stop being on this show.
A
lot of us can do a lot of things.
So, yes, of course, we're doing another draft that today against each other. We were going to go out with a bang and bring in somebody, but, we like ones against each other. It's a nice little friendly competition. I kind of want to keep this alphabet one, because that's what we're doing today. We did wrestlers beginning with A. I think it was before our break, so we're talking like 5 weeks ago. So today we're doing wrestlers that begin with B.
First name or last name.
Funny old thing.
Those things count.
Yeah, factions, tag teams.
But it doesn't count for, like we were discussing off air, like the Hardy Boys or the Dudley Boys. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Steiner Brothers. That does not count.
I like that we both thought about that, though. It's like, could I take the Dudley Boys?
But I literally thought about it this morning as I was getting on the train to do some stuff in the city, and I was like, could I use the Dudley? And I was like, no, it doesn't count. And I was like, but I'm going to make a note of it and ask about it.
Great minds.
Great minds.
Great minds think a lot,
Minds they do.
They do. And if you haven't caught last week's episode, I do suggest that you do, as is always the case. Like, why wouldn't you listen to our previous episode if you're listening to this one?
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with
Go sort it out. But that was our return episode after a brief hiatus. We basically just shot the shit for 40 minutes talking about wrestling that we've missed during the period of time away from the pod. But more importantly, what's coming up for the rest of the year and kind of outlining how we want things to go at the start of next year. So go check that out for more information. But the long and short of it is, obviously, this week draft that. Next week, we've got the Whammy Awards. And then we go into another break until the first week in January, I believe.
Yes, that's
pinpointed. Yes. I don't know what we're going to do when we come back. I would like to do a big episode. We could do a look ahead, actually. Oh, I know what we could do. We could take a look back at that predictions episode we did in January this year.
Oh, I like that.
Recount and then come into... I can't believe that's nearly a year.
I know, right? It's wild.
Oof. Yeah, see what predictions we got right and then give new predictions for the year 2021. Yes.
I like that.
So that could be there you go. That's our first episode of 2021 in back.
That came about. Look how that came about.
On the fly.
On the fly.
Off
the cuff. Off the script.
As is so often the case.
I was going to say, as
on this show. It is tradition. Absolutely is tradition. Tangents usually end up with good things on this show.
This is true. It's magic. We have magic between us. David Blaine and David Copperfield.
Oh, it's magic. You know. I cannot. I cannot think of that without thinking Happy Gilmore.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I guess I can without thinking of Happy Gilmore. I was not thinking of Happy Gilmore.
Why? What's wrong with you?
So sorry.
What's wrong with you? I thought great minds thought alike.
You thought we had something, but we don't.
I did. Well, screw it. I'm taking that first pick now.
Go ahead, do it. I'll fucking walk right off this set. Think I won't.
So usually we do the coin toss whilst we record. We've already done the coin toss, so I'm going first this week. So I could play a very dickheadish card.
Play a card, bro.
But I don't know. It's kind of snowballs and hits me back in the face. So we'll see.
Yes, it does, because if you do said move, I will counter with said move, and then neither of us are happy.
Nobody likes that. Everyone wants a happy Dits and Anthony.
Exactly. That's what everyone's here for. Don't.
First picks are just atrocious, and then we're just bitter towards each other for the rest of the time.
It's just pure hate and venom with each pick.
No, I think both fucking Dallas. Go fuck yourself.
Keep it up, because then, and you know what? Also, if you did this, not only will I take someone within the Bs that I know you would want, I will take Cameron Grimes when we do see.
Oh, you can't do that to me.
I will take Cameron Grimes. I will take him.
I ordered his latest T-shirt off WWE Shop this week. I did, yeah.
Oh man, what started as a joke, you love him, man. I think that's fucking awesome.
It was a joke. It definitely was a joke. And now I love him. I stand Cameron Grimes. I'm not afraid to say it.
You stand him so hard. And I never would expect, if you get who, of the top, not even 30, I would say top, 40 to 50, even pushing 50, who are the top 50 most likely to be stan from the WWE and NXT universe? No one's standing Cameron Grimes.
So there's a market there. It's niche.
It's super niche. It's so niche it barely exists.
Did you see? Going off topic here. Obviously, we're just trying to draft that, but I'll take any time to speak about Cameron Grimes. Did you see Halloween Havoc? His match with Dexter Lumis.
No, but I saw the lead up to it and how terrified he was.
He played his part very, very well in that match. I loved every freaking second of it. It was great.
I'll have to go back and watch it.
Oh, it's a treat. It's a treat.
Yeah, he was really just how he was like, oh no, we don't have to do that. Why are we even no, we don't need to do this interview. No, he was just so scared and so sketched. He's a funny character. He's a good dude.
Is.
I mean, fair. Points.
He's a good wrestler as well.
He is. He's better than I liked him. Even before we started making Cameron Grimes jokes, and before you started standing him, I forget when I first saw him, but I remember seeing, oh, dang, what match was he in?
I forget his name on the indies.
Oh, I saw him in, he had a really, really, really good match in NXT way earlier this year, before we started booking him in the fantasy universe that we booked, before you mentioned him in one of your streaming episodes, way earlier, and I saw him, and I thought he was really good. Dang, who did he have a match with that's going to drive me nuts? Because I remember when you started mentioning him on some of the platforms of which you frequent, I was like, oh, that's that dude who had that killer match. Oh, God, this is going to drive me nuts for the whole night. Thanks a lot.
God damn it,
Thanks a lot.
God damn, Cameron Grimes.
Calm down, Cameron.
Oh, I can't wait till we draft C. Oh,
I'm going to take him.
Number one pick. Just got to win that coin toss.
I'll take him. If you do, you better rig the shit out of that coin toss, because I will take him and ruin your world if you ruin mine.
Ooh. See, I can't have that.
No, you can't.
I can't allow that. Anyway, back on topic. We're not going to cut out.
We've gone back and forth threatening each other for the last 5 minutes.
So standard rules apply for the draft. That we get 10 picks each, and we do have dower ups in play. I say dower ups; it's actually singular. We have one dower up in play, and that is the steal, which is available from round 5 onwards.
Or round 6 on. Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, round 6 onwards. No, you can start. Oh yeah, the first 4 are only protected, right?
Yes.
Yes. Fair enough.
See, there you go. And that's it. That is it. That is the rules. So, without further ado, I'm Dits, you are Anthony, and we are going to draft wrestlers. Let's start with the letter B. So I get the first pick.
I'll fucking kill you.
Ooh.
I'll fucking kill you.
I'm watching you right now.
I'm in your house.
I couldn't do it to you. I like you too much. If it was somebody else,
fuck that other guy.
No, yeah, fuck the other guy. But I couldn't do that to you. And my list isn't actually in any particular order, apart from the number one pick that I was going to go for. So I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
And this, I've never hidden behind this any time as a wrestling fan, despite the hate that is often levied towards him on so many occasions. Sometimes it's understandable, but most of the time I just go, well, you're not really seeing the bigger picture, are you? My number one pick is none other than Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm. That's who I was going to take number 2 if you ripped my heart out.
Yeah, I wasn't having that.
Well played.
Yeah. I genuinely think that he is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. I will throw that out there. For such a short time as a wrestler, in the grand scheme of things, like, he's achieved so much, he's done so much, he's super freaking talented with what he can do. Like, especially his first run, like, people forget, like, because of how he is the last couple of years, where he's just suplex, F5, suplex, F5. People forget how good and agile and just diverse he was, like, when he first came through. I mean, the guy can do I say he can do a shooting star press. The last one he tried didn't exactly go to plan. But almost. His other ones in OVW were very good. So
I think it's also one of the biggest aspects of his game, and something that I love, and it doesn't get talked about enough. His selling is tremendous. Even just, and I've got 2 examples that come to mind. One, when he got eliminated by Drew in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we talked about that, didn't we?
Yes, we did. He sold the after effects of that Claymore like he got hit with a concussion grenade to the face.
Yeah, he was staring at Drew for a good, what felt like 5 minutes, just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell? And again, at that point, like, he's out. He's eliminated. Like, he's technically done his job, and he put Drew over so good. And then also, in matches where Brock gets, like, low blowed or, like, hit in that area, he'll sell that for the whole rest of the match, and he'll be like,
yes,
kind of fixing himself down there, or like showing the after effects, or he'll grimace here and there. Like, he for as much as we joke of, like, the part-timer and that he's like a mercenary, when he punches in and he's on the clock, it's top level in everything that he does, and he doesn't fuck around. And I know the rap that he gets for not respecting the sport really, and isn't like a real wrestling type of guy, but he's, to your point, he's tremendously talented, and he's one of, it may sound ridiculous to think about it, but he's one of the best ever. And
yeah,
I was a huge fan of his when he was going full-time in WWE. I'm still a fan of his now. I wish he was able to do more than just suplexes, but he does what he's asked, and it's simple as hell for him to show up and get paid millions of dollars to German suplex somebody 10 times and then hit him with an F5, but he's still capable of a lot. He's fantastic, and that's a great first pick for you.
Yeah. Not surprising to anybody, but yeah. Great first pick.
I figured that would be your first pick. My first pick...
I don't know who yours would be.
My first pick, I've made several puns alluding to this pick already throughout this episode. The first one I didn't intend. The second one I did. This person is my favorite wrestler of all time. I think this person is also the best wrestler of all time, which is not the reason they are my favorite. It is just because of other reasons that they are my favorite. Dallas is what this pick is. No, this person, was the first wrestler that I really was a huge fan of. I still think he could have accomplished so much more, and been used in such a better way when he left the WWF, and it's still something that bothers me to this day. My first pick is Bret the Hitman Hart.
No fucking way.
I know, big surprise. Big surprise. I legitimately would have hung up on this call and walked out of the room had I not gotten Bret Hart. So I'm pretty happy with this pick.
I got about halfway down my list, and it wasn't until we were doing our pre-recording chat, which goes on for about 6 hours. I tell you what, that's not even. I mean, that is an exaggeration, but it's actually it's not that far off.
It's not.
Yeah, he's halfway down, and I saw his name and went, oh, ooh, advantage Dits. But no, I would never do that.
I appreciate you.
I would never do that.
If you would have taken Brett, I was like, okay, then I'm going to take Brock, and then eventually we'll trade because neither of us is going to be happy.
Yeah. And Brett wouldn't even make it on my top 10, so it wouldn't really be right.
Can't believe why wouldn't he make it on your top 10?
Never been a Brett guy.
Well, fuck you then.
He's in one of my favorite matches of all time.
What match is that?
Brett versus Austin, WrestleMania 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know that. We did an episode on it.
I know, I just wanted to hear you say it.
Oh. Brilliant.
Advantage Anthony.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting. Brock Lesnar and Bret Hart.
Two good starts.
That's a very good start. So second round of picks, and I feel again. Well, from now on, like this list is in like the list I have in front of me is in no particular order. And by the way, are you writing these down? Because I am not.
Yeah, I got it. You know
Good.
I'm right.
Good. I can always trust you.
You can.
I trust you, my first mate. I have.
I lead that mutiny.
Well, I gave you Bret Hart.
You did. That is fair.
So
that's enough to keep me satisfied for an hour or two.
Which is just enough time. Well, saying that, I say just enough time. We've gone past the fucking 3-hour mark anyway with the pre-chat. But so my second pick, I feel I have to go. I probably wouldn't actually do it this early, but I feel like I'd be doing him an injustice, seeing as whenever I'm sat at this desk, he is with me. Not physically. I would love it if he was physically.
I was going to say, he sits there with you.
It would be amazing. But he sits on my wall, also proudly, signed autograph. He's there in my streams all the time. Here he is. And he's somebody that I didn't really get exposed to in it until he joined NXT. And from that moment on, he was he was actually my favorite wrestler in the world at one point. And he's still not far off at this point. Yeah, he kind of went down when he went onto the main roster, which was no surprise to anybody. But he's still one. I think he's still one of the best to do it. I honestly do think that. I'm going with Finn Balor. Big fan of the Finn, and I got a double too sweet off him once, so I'm kind of biased.
Cute.
Yeah, he did it by accident, but I'm going to take it. He meant to do that shit.
I'm going to take credit for it.
He meant to do that shit.
That's a good pick there. I wish he was used better.
Yeah, I think...
Even in NXT now, I feel like NXT has gotten more mainstream and has gone downhill. That's something that we say this a lot, but we're going to get into an episode on that. And
I think it's one of the things we said last week. That was one of the...
That is.
The big ones we were going to do next year.
2021, that new year. But even like I was watching when... Undisputed Era came out, it came back like a couple weeks ago or whatever and attacked Pat McAfee and his crew. You saw that?
No. But that happened.
They came back, and that happened. But before it happened, Finn Balor was in the ring, and Pat McAfee and Pete Dunne and who were the tag team champions? Lorcan and Burch?
Danny Burch, yeah.
Yeah. And they came out and were doing their thing, and then Finn Balor just had like the wackest lines ever about like the cat is back, and it was just I was like, who wrote this shit? Like, it's so bad. I just feel everywhere he goes, he was great in NXT when he first started out, and then he went to the main roster, and I still would like to have known what the long-term direction and plan was for him had he not gotten hurt with that shoulder injury. He was the first Universal Champion when it was the red belt, and then he hurt his shoulder in that match against Seth. I wonder what his career in WWE would have looked like had he not gotten hurt. I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. No pun intended there with AJ Styles. He's a phenomenal wrestler. He can do so many different styles. He's a great heel. He's a decent enough face, but he's a much better heel. Great look, great move set. The demon thing is awesome. And I'm happier that he's back in NXT, but I still feel like even there now, he's still not being used to how he could, and it's disappointing because I think he's great.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like you, what the long-term plan was, because you'd think being injured and then coming back to the main roster following that injury, like he would have like a rocket lit under his ass, but it never happened. He never got his rematch. when they.
I feel like he was because he's a smaller guy. Once he got hurt, I feel like Vince was like, "See, I knew it. He's small. He can't last. Put him on the bottom."
Yeah, it's probably it's sad, but it's probably not that far from the truth.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look at this fucking little guy. He can't do it.
It
Get me fucking Jinder Mahal. Let's put the belt on Jinder. I need a guy who can carry this belt. Where's Jinder? Give me Jinder.
And that one is true.
That's true.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
Look at us. Who would have thought?
Look at us. Who would have thought? Look at us, huh? My number 2 now.
Ooh.
A little known fact about this is...
I like facts.
So, you do. And part of the word that is in fact is in the word faction. And we are allowed to draft factions here on Draft That, as long as they begin with that letter, in addition to being able to draft individuals and tag teams. And it is extremely ironic that you picked Finn Balor with your second pick, because with my second pick, I'm picking Bullet Club.
I kind of figured you were going to go that way.
I actually didn't think of it at all until about 20 minutes ago when we were shooting the shit, talking about nothing before we did the pre-show. I don't know what made it creep into my mind, and I thought, this is awesome.
You probably put that down because I put that down during our pre-chat too.
Did you?
I did. So something we must have been talking about something to trigger that.
What we were talking about. I was going to say because we were doing and there guns. But it wasn't
that's an inside joke. You won't get it.
Yeah, you won't get it.
You won't understand.
Stupid.
You're not in the clique.
Yeah, you're not in the... You weren't in the Cranberries.
That's a good pick, though. Very good pick. One of the most recognizable factions of all time. Probably behind NWO.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
I guess of their time.
Yes.
They're probably like equal footing.
But it's great. I spoke about it before. I think I mentioned it on this show. When did we talk about it? I don't know, whatever. My brain is mush. But you and I are both fans of Disney World, and I went to Disney when I went last year and the year prior, and both times I wore a Bullet Club shirt, and I wore the traditional one just because I like it. I don't wear it so people like approach me or like talk to me about it. And if they do, it's cool. Like I'm fine with that, but I don't wear it for like attention.
It's just a cool shirt.
Yeah, it's just an awesome shirt, great logo. And I definitely wasn't expecting to get attention at Disney World for it. And day one, when I went 2 years ago, Sunday morning, sitting at Animal Kingdom, it's about 11:30, just got out of brunch, and I hear this dude coming, hey, and I'm with like the rest of the family because we do the family trip to Disney, and so there's like 6 of us, and 5 of us, and keep hearing like, hey, and I'm like, well, you can't be like talking to me, and hey, and I feel like a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and I'm like, yeah, it's this random dude, blue t-shirt and jeans, and he's got some kind of drink in his hand, and he's just like, hey, and I turn around, and he puts his drink down, and he's like, too sweet, Bullet Club. And I was like, oh.
Fucking hell.
What the shit? And then I went last year, and I have like the pink Bullet Club shirt. So it's like harder to tell. And I had 2 people at friggin' Epcot in touring the different countries. One person in France. And
Goofy
one person,
and Donald.
Yeah, Goofy and Donald coming up, throwing up the too sweet. Yeah, another person in fucking Epcot, and then I was wearing my LA Dojo New Japan shirt. That's not a Bullet Club shirt, but I got spotted at that for Magic Kingdom. Like, it's just wild how New Japan has transcended, I think, just Japan and its visibility and recognizable stability here in the States. And I think a lot of that is due to Bullet Club and what Finn Balor did, and then what AJ Styles did, and then what Kenny Omega did, and then the Young Bucks in there in between, and Tama Tonga, and just everything. The recognizable, you throw up that logo, and I think there is a pretty, whether you are a New Japan fan or not, I would say that logo and that name is one of, if not the most recognizable things in wrestling today.
That's fair.
And they've got a great roster.
Still going as well.
Huh?
Still going.
They are led by my current favorite wrestler in the world, Jay White.
Jay White.
Jay White.
Yeah.
Jay White. Switchblade.
Jay.
Breathe of the Switchblade.
I still need to go and watch some Jay White matches. That's that. Yeah. Whoa.
Yes.
Tangent breaks going on.
Yes, you do. Be better.
Yes. So yeah, Billy. See, we started well.
I feel super accomplished. I don't care how the rest of this draft goes. Actually, I do. There's 3 more people that I really, really, really want.
Ooh. See, those I have no idea who you would go for.
Fair enough.
No idea. So my third pick, I am picking. Well, I've always been a big fan of this guy, but he just happened to be around in an era where my wrestling fandom really kicked off. Started in the Attitude Era, but I started paying attention a lot more during the Ruthless Aggression Era. And this guy was, I'd say, you could say he's one of the poster boys for that era. And he's part of one of my favorite factions. He's been in some of my favorite feuds. He's had good, like, friendships or,
I know who it is.
Budding little, like, friendly rivalries with some of my favorite wrestlers as well, which have led to some good matches. And he, even in his last match, which he had 2 years ago, I even enjoyed that as well. He still got it, despite the fact he tripped in the ring when he first got in. I'm going with Batista.
Fucking knew it.
As my third pick.
That, you know what's funny, is when I thought you were going to take Bret Hart, in my mind, I was already like, cool, fine, I'm taking Brock number 1, and I'm taking Batista 2.
Don't do that. And he plays fucking Drax.
I was going to say, and he's now made a successful transition into acting. Look at that guy. What versatility. And I think it's cool that he didn't get into wrestling. I think it was until he was like 36. Like 35. He was
he was late to the game, yeah.
Yeah, it was like kind of like how Diamond Dallas Page was. And yeah, tremendously successful. Now he's in Marvel movies, living it up and just killing it. So more power to him. And he's got a really cool finisher and a good look and a good theme.
Very good theme.
Good for him.
Good entrance.
Good. Oh, very good. Oh, very good entrance. So especially when you get down in that crouch and the Gatling gun. Oh, yeah, it's
Xavier Woods fucking loves that.
Yeah, down. He would go so hard with the with their stuff with Tyler Breeze every time.
Don't get me wrong. I think there's a few people that I would have had over Batista, but because he's next on the list, I was going, you know what? I'd happily have him in my top 4. I'm a big fan of Batista. Always have been. Even Bootista. Blue Tista.
Oh, Blue Tista.
Even those days.
Does that count as a separate person? Can I draft Blue Tista?
Yeah, screw it.
Third pick for me. And now this is where the bit of the gamesmanship starts to come into play, because I've got our list. We are different in terms of our wrestling fandom, but at a certain point when you're drafting people with just a certain letter in their first or their last name at the beginning of either, there's a narrow scope in terms of how you can draft. But despite that, I'm still sticking to the order of my list and who I love. And this next person I first saw in WCW, and he was a monster, and I was fascinated by him. And by fascinated, I mean terrified. Then he was in WWF for a brief bit, underutilized tremendously, even underutilized in WCW because of fucking Hulk Hogan, which is disappointing, but such is the way. This is the way.
Ooh.
He was also a phenomenal wrestler in New Japan, and he was also in an episode of Boy Meets World.
No.
This next wrestler that I'm picking is Big Van Vader, more commonly known as Vader, but when he got his start and really took off in New Japan, he was known as Big Van Vader. So that's a B. I'm picking.
I have him on my list, so I'm going to give you that.
Oh, I did not think you were going to have him.
Yeah.
Oh, he was also an All-American in college football in the U.S. It's a shame that he passed. I went down like the Vader rabbit hole a couple of years ago when it's just wild how big he is and everything that he could do and how athletic he was and strong, and he had a great look and he had good charisma, and he was just such an intimidating, dominating heel And
especially when he's going stiff.
oh my god, dude, like just oh. And even to talk about like the list, like I wish we could have gotten it at some point. Oh, give me a Brock Lesnar Vader match.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, like just he could work so many different styles and against so many different dudes, and it's a shame that he passed. He's one of my favorites of all time, and I wish he was utilized better in WWF, and I wish he would have gotten the heel run in WCW that he deserved, fucking Hogan. But I'm happy to draft him here. I did not think he would be on your list. I did not think he would be on your list. I'm glad I went with that pick.
I don't think he would have been in my 10, but he's definitely in my reserves. Like he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th from the bottom.
Oh,
which is obviously that's not to do Vader a disservice or anything, but I have a lot of people on this list, which is in no particular order, by the way.
No, sure, yeah, you just want to shit on Vader. I get it. It's cool. Oh, he's at the bottom of my list. Look at me. I'm from fucking England.
Look at me.
Look at me.
Look at me. Look at me.
Look at us, huh?
It's a very good pick, though.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very good pick. I like it. And I guess now we have to round out the non-stealable rounds with this. Yes. So I need to think smart. I need to think clever. I need to think strategery.
Ooh, you can't strategerize better than me.
Well, you coined it, so
that's exactly why you can't. You can't out strategery me.
Ooh. I got a lot of people, a lot of bees buzzing.
I was gonna make that joke. A lot of honey.
A lot of honey on this list. I'm gonna go with. Oh God, this is tough.
Bo Dallas is still there.
Bo Dallas. Never live it down. I'm gonna go with somebody who I think is even now at this point, as he's starting to wind things down, I think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, and you could argue that he has been for the last decade, easily, and he played the everyman incredibly well, the underdog more than anything else, and he had an organic rise, which you love to see in wrestling. Braun Strowman. It's Daniel Bryan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Daniel Bryan. Have been for many years. D-Bry. Bryan Danielson. And he, like, even now as he's starting to wind things down, like, he's still putting on pretty damn good match. He did a really good one with AJ earlier this year for the IC title. Funny old thing, the IC title a couple of weeks ago with Sami Zayn, which I managed to watch this week. Like, he'll always be able to go, and the fact that he came back from that injury, which like career-ending, almost life-ending.
I didn't think he would wrestle again.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, I'm clear. Here we go. Let's do it. And he's not held back. He's reverted back to his old style. I don't really see much to differentiate between the Daniel Bryan we see now and the Daniel Bryan we saw before. He still takes the same old bumps. Yeah, like, he's fantastic. And I'm happy to have him as my number 4.
I've never been a big fan of Daniel Bryan. Even in his Ring of Honor. Like, I think he's good, but I've never been, like, amazed or think he's, like, great. I really loved his match with Brock Lesnar, ironically.
Oh, very good.
At Survivor Series, I think,
a
couple years ago.
Yeah.
That was really cool. But I've never been... I don't know why, but I think he's good. He's a very technical wrestler, very technically sound. I got no qualms with that. That's a good pick. That's a solid top 4. Brock Lesnar, Finn Balor, Batista, and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Now it's time for me to round out my top 4.
Ooh.
I don't want to... I'm torn on this. I'm torn because of, like, who people are in real life.
If it's who I think you're referencing there, then yes, I have that same dilemma.
Yeah. I'm going to do it. I don't want to talk about it. We're not going to go into depth. In the ring, as far as that, he's one of the best of all time. Legitimately, he was phenomenal. I'm going to take Chris Benoit, and that's what we're going to talk, and then we're not going to talk about it.
Good pick.
Appreciate it.
Funny old thing, he's at number 4 on my list.
Oh, really?
Obviously, it was no particular order, but that's where he lies in my list.
It's a real, I mean, just terrible and horrible and everything that happened. And it's a shame. Well, it's a shame because people lost their friggin' lives, but even more so for the dark cloud that it put on his career and who he was. And he was just so good and so phenomenal. When I first started seeing him in Japan a little bit, in New Japan, I had no idea just what he could do. I only knew him from WCW, and I was a fan in WWF. And yeah, it's a shame for everything that fucking happened. And it's also even opened up, man, the whole world of like CTE and brain damage and the connection. Like, people talk about it with football, but Chris Benoit's brain was really one of the ones that opened it further. I think he had the brain of like a 75-year-old, and it was just mush from all the bumps that he took and all the diving headbutts, and it furthered things along. And it's wild to see what like brain damage can do to people, and how we usually just think about it in sports in terms of like, oh, well, this person plays football and, they're wearing helmets and they're always hitting each other's heads and getting concussions and yada yada. But we look at wrestling and always think like it's fake because it's scripted. But the things that these people go through and that they endure and that they are afflicted with are very much real thing. These are professional athletes doing a sport. I don't care if it's scripted or not. And I don't care if it's self-inflicted or not. Their bodies go through legitimate damage and trauma. And I didn't want to fucking talk about it, but yeah, I mean, here we are, and it's shitty that fucking sad, all around, and terrible all around.
Absolutely, and we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there on that one. But that's a good
hell of a wrestler, though.
Yeah, absolutely, one of my favorites as a young Dits growing up. But yeah, like you said, Dark Cloud, which is
young piece of Dits.
Young piece of Dits. Fine piece of Dits. Right, so we're now in stealing territory.
Ooh, time for steal!
Time for steal.
Stealing Grimes.
I'm going to go for my 5th pick.
Okay.
Cameron Grimes.
I was going to say we're just changing everybody's names to make it fit.
The Bok. Let's go.
Cold Beavos.
No, I'm going to go with somebody who has been, excuse me, one of my, she's definitely, there you go, there's a hint. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Ooh. She is one of my favorite women's wrestlers of all time, and my current favorite women's wrestler. She is. So I think she gets enough credit to justify saying like she's really good, but I still think she's underappreciated. I don't know what it is.
Oh, most definitely, because she's floundered in obscurity for a decent amount of the last 1.5 to 2 years, and despite how fucking fantastic she is. So I think that gets like thrown in because she has these periods where she's just so underutilized and gets fucking nothing.
Are we talking about Sasha Banks?
Yes, but I was going to say spoiler.
Yes.
I know you're fucking picking it. I already wrote it down.
Yeah, and then there was the whole, she took a ball and went home and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, like I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. And everyone say, oh, she's unsafe. She ended Paige's career. Well, it happens.
Fluky. I mean, I think it's unfortunate that she gets that rap of.
It's the same with Bliss. Like Bliss gets that rap because we only just talked about that last week, or yes. the like just before we went on the break. I can't remember when, but like she gets a lot of flack for being not necessarily unsafe, just not very good. But I'm just like, are you watching the same fucking person?
It's not fair. Hers is different to me than Sasha's, because for Alexa Bliss, I think, and we talked about it before. Yeah, it was before the break. Alexa Bliss has been a multi-time champion. She gets a lot of camera time. She's held the belt. She's been in high-profile matches, and a lot of people are upset by that because, oh man, like Sasha Banks is way better. She should be there. Or just throw out women's wrestler A, B, or C who's better than Alexa Bliss, and oh, they should be there or they should be there. And so she gets all that flack. And I don't think it's fair because, one, she's a tremendous promo, and I know that doesn't count towards like the wrestling or the actual in-ring stuff, but her promo work is phenomenal. Two, she's a better wrestler than people give her credit for, but because she's not the best, people shit all over her.
Yeah.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, Sasha Banks to me is like a 9. On a scale of 1 to 10, I think Alexa Bliss is a 6. Sometimes she can be a 7. But because she's not a 9, she shouldn't be. She sucks. She's the worst. And I hate that. She's an awesome character. She entertains the shit out of me.
I mean, look what she's doing now.
Phenomenal what she's doing right now. It's so good. And she's a lot better in the ring and she gets credit for. Is she the best worker? Is she have the best work rate? Is she extremely technically sound? No. But she is above average, and she is not awful and does not deserve the negativity that she gets. And
I agree.
And that's not fucking right. And to tie it into Sasha, I would say, let me think here if I'm being incorrect. I think she's a better wrestler than Becky Lynch, although I do like Becky a lot. But it's between Becky and Sasha for the best non-Japanese women's wrestler in the world. And I say that because I believe like the top 3 at the very least, the top 3 best female wrestlers in the world are all Japanese. Maybe 4 or 5. And I'm not even just talking like Io Shirai and Asuka. I'm talking about what they got going on at Stardom. But Sasha's fantastic. And I'm happy that she's getting a run again with the belt. And I know, she kind of took her ball and went home. But also, I don't fault her for that. She's fantastic, and she was just getting no shine and no burn, and when she was getting stuff to do, it was terrible drivel, and I'm happy for her. Good for her. She's fantastic.
And my number 5. So there you go.
There it goes.
Booyah. There it goes. Yes.
Next up for me, do managers count?
No.
Damn it. Okay, so let me cross that out. That makes my decision a lot easier. My number 5 is going to be a tag team.
The Basham Brothers.
The Bushwhackers. No, neither of those. Just Danny Basham. And then my next pick, instead of picking them together, it would have been funnier if I was like, number 5, Danny Basham. And then number 6, Doug Basham. Why don't you just take them together? My number 5 pick, tag team. One of the best tag teams of all time, in my estimation. They started out when they were very, very young. I like one of them a lot more than I like the other. They have been a fixture in Ring of Honor for a very, very long time. They also got some work in New Japan over the last several years. I'm going with the Briscoe brothers as my 5. Jay and Mark. Yeah. This one, they were my number 3. But I debated taking them later because I didn't think you would take them. And the gamesmanship has begun to a degree. But, smoke them if you got them.
It's a good pick. I don't really know much about them, but obviously you have a wider fandom of wrestling than I do. So I trust your judgment.
You should watch...
I've heard a lot about them.
They're fantastic. And you should watch Jay... Jay is, in my estimation, better than Mark, and I love Jay. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. You should watch Jay's matches with Samoa Joe when Samoa Joe was in Ring of Honor. Those are very good, physical, intense. They started wrestling in Ring of Honor when they were like 17 and 18, and basically kind of like faked their age so they could start wrestling. Yeah, it's wild. Their dad played in the NFL. I met their dad at a Ring of Honor show, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
There you go.
They can do a whole bunch of styles. They do the Doomsday Device, which is an awesome finisher. Great look, great theme song, great intensity. Yeah, I'm happy with that pick.
Speaking of Doomsday, I'm going with the Legion of Boom.
The Legion of Doom.
No, but I am going to go with a stable for my
Triple H.
sixth pick. Triple H.
The Bundertaker.
Bane. Oh,
The
Bane.
Undertaker.
You're gonna go Bane.
Oh, Bane is good. If you're doing a PC, you think that gives you power over me?
I'm going with a stable.
Uh-oh.
I get 3 for the price of 1.
Uh-oh.
With this nice little pick here. I wasn't going to go for them, but they are on. They're, for some reason, they're staring at me on my list here in front of me. So you have arguably one of the best to lace up a pair of boots. You have somebody who is one of the most underappreciated wrestlers ever. And then you have Gangrel. I'm going with the Brood.
Yeah, so rude.
It's so Brood.
It is so Brood.
Brood.
Oh,
No, Gangrel was a good character wrestler in his time. However, yeah, I don't need to say much more than that. But the Brood, man, so cool. What a cool freaking stable. Awesome music. Awesome entrance. Their time was short-lived, but they dipped in and out of, a few like main storylines. They were hooked up to Undertaker for a while with the Ministry. They had their run with the Hardys. The whole thing was just such a great introduction to Edge and Christian. Oh.
They came out from the fucking floor.
Yeah, there was fucking fire. It was like, yes.
Yeah, and cups of blood.
Oh, love me
Really
some Brood. Love me some Brood.
Vampire fandom. That was around the time that Blade was out. Vampires were in, I guess.
Because Twilight came out. The Brood. I'm surprised that the Brood 2.0 wasn't a thing.
Oh my god. As soon as Twilight came out. Bring back his fangs.
No, but instead he's a teenage heartthrob.
Oh my god. All the ladies love Gangrel.
Mm.
That's a good pick. That's something I always forget about, that Edge and Christian got their start together in the Brood, and it's not like the whole thing of like Edge and Christian and the Hardys and the Dudleys and that TLC awesome series that they had. It stems from their initial work with, when Edge and Christian were with Gangrel, and I feel like that gets lost in the shuffle a little bit, and the Brood just gets mentioned here and there for having like a cool theme song or like a cool act or whatever, but that's a really good pick.
Yeah.
That's a really good pick.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I'm surprised you haven't taken this next person, and I guess... And I'm going to take him now because, 1, I forgot about him. 2, I'm going to take him now because I think you will take him.
I know exactly who you're going to say.
He's really good. You know what's so stupid? I didn't even realize in my head. I was writing down all the names, and I just penciled this person in for me, and I looked at the people above him, and I was like, oh, everybody I've picked so far has a B as their first name, or as their name. And I was like, oh, wait, that's like the fucking point.
Have you shown up to the right draft?
I was like, oh, Briscoes. Oh, this. Oh, Benoit. And I was like, oh, wait. Stupid.
Isn't that a coinky dink?
Really great character. Better wrestler than he gets credit for. I love the shine and the spotlight that he has gotten in the last year and a half about. I think he deserves a lot. And my favorite iteration of him was his initial iteration on the main roster, for which he first started to gain a following of sorts, both in storyline and outside in terms of fandom. My 6th pick is Bray Wyatt.
Damn it.
When you said Daniel Bryan, I was like, oh shit, Bray Wyatt, and I wrote down Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, he was going to be my next pick.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I take it back. Let's start again. Bret Hart, number 1. Fuck you.
Redo the draft.
Nah, very good pick. Very, very good. Oh.
I'm really glad that he's doing what... I mean, I like Bray more than I like The Fiend, and Cult Bray Wyatt is still my favorite iteration of Bray, and it's not even close. Like, the whole, we're here, blowing out the lantern, coming out with those Hawaiian shirts and the fedora, and the weird guard on his hand that was like for his thumb or hand or whatever the hell. It just the look was great. The white pants and the gator shoes, like it was just all the rocking chair. Everything was just awesome. The lantern, the walkout, everything was just beautiful. That's still my favorite iteration. But yeah, I'm very happy with that pick.
I would be as well.
Yes.
I'm glad. Yeah. I would have been happy if that was my seventh pick as well, but we can't have everything you want, can you? Eh?
No.
So I'm going to have to rejig some things for my seventh pick.
Fair enough.
And I'm going to go with... Ooh. See, now I'm in tough territory here because...
John Bina.
A lot of the people on my list have been selected.
Have been elected.
I'm going Booker T.
I was literally going to say that. I was literally just about to say there's someone here who I'm surprised you're not taking right now. Yeah, I was literally going to say that. That's so fucking funny.
Yeah, like Booker T is like he is a legit Hall of Famer. You know, I know we look at the WWE's Hall of Fame and go, yeah, this is one big fucking joke, but because it is. But like if there was a legit Hall of Fame, I think he would be in there, deservedly so. He had a very good run in WCW initially as part of a tag team, one of your favorite tag teams. And then branched off into a successful singles run as WCW closed its doors. And then he had a very fun run in WWF, transitioning into WWE. And then he's in one of my favorite tag teams of all time, Buck Dust. And the only thing I didn't really like about Booker T, and a lot of people always pick me up for this, I was never a big fan of King Booker.
Yeah, me neither.
No, that's good. See, this is why we do this. Yeah, I was never a fan of King Booker, but aside from that I love his music, I loved his look, I love his in-ring work. Like Booker T is awesome, and he could still go now. You could throw him in the ring, he'd still go. I saw him do a match, like I think it was last year, and obviously he's missed a little bit of a step because he's not a spring chicken anymore, but he could still go.
This is true.
Yeah, I think that's a good solid pick for number 7.
Fair enough, yeah, that's fair. That's good.
Can you dig it?
Sucker.
Even honestly, that interest. I used to love that when I was a kid, watching him come down. It had the amazing entrance music, and then the flames coming out, and it was so good. And it had that bit. It was like, boom, boom,
so
boom.
Good.
What the hell is that? But I dig.
A bunch of cats.
I dig it.
A bunch of cats there.
Sucker.
5
time.
This is where we get into some gamesmanship again.
I think we're at a period. Well, I am anyway. I'm at a period where this just got tough for me.
I've got 4 left that I want, and I'm fairly confident that you will not take 3 of them.
Oh.
Because of that, I have to take the one who I think has the highest chance of being taken by you, and who I think will actually be taken by you, or is at least on your list.
You have my attention.
My number 7 pick is Aleister Black.
Very nice. He is on my list.
I knew it.
Shock
really
horror.
Great worker, great wrestler, awesome NXT run. Another example of someone just being fucking wasted on the main roster in just a terrible, sad fashion. I wish he would have taken or gotten the opportunity to go along with his wife, Zelina Vega, and be gone so that he could go to AEW or anywhere else. I feel like he would be a very, very, very good fit in AEW, though. Aleister Black is awesome, and I can't believe he's toiling away. I mean, actually, no, I can believe that. I'm not surprised. He doesn't have the look that Vince likes. He doesn't do the kind of things that Vince likes. They gave him stupid, creaky casket music to come out with because his entrance was already the best. Like, one of, if not the best. The theme song was great, was perfect, everything. and you just had to WWE-ify it. You had to just, well, how can we make it, main roster? It always comes out of cast. Let's make a creak noise. Stupid.
It's like the fucking Ricochet. So
stupid.
Nah.
So stupid. But, fuck, yeah, he's awesome. Great striker, technically sound, really good career before WWE as well. And
Tommy End?
That is exactly correct. Tommy End. Really awesome name. Yeah, the Dutchman. Going with Aleister Black.
Great pick.
Appreciate you.
And you've just made things even more tougher for me there, which is...
I knew you were going to take him. I knew he
great.
would be...
Thank you so much.
Welcome. I'm doing what I can to fuck things up for you.
Yeah, that's nice. Nice of you.
First mate.
Ooh.
Ooh. These are inappropriate noises.
It's like now I'm looking at this list and I'm going, would I really put some of these in my last 3 picks? And then I'm trying to think outside the box, but we'd be here for a month of Sundays if I did that, so I'm going to have to stick to this list.
Yeah.
There's people on here that aren't necessarily the best wrestlers, but they've made...
Yikes.
Horns.
New York City, living it up. They like your picks.
But they've made a substantial impact in the wrestling world, so that's what I'm torn on.
Shut the fuck up!
Shut up! Make your fucking pick, man!
That's exactly what they're like. Stop kicking around. Who's your number 8?
We're doing B, jackass!
I can't believe you didn't take Bray Wyatt or Aleister Black. What the fuck are you thinking?
I'll tell you who I will pick, though. I'm going to pick Wade Barrett.
Oh, okay.
It helps.
Should have seen it coming.
Should have seen it coming. Look at us now. I think Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett, whatever you want to call him, it seems to be the common trend here. Like, he's very underappreciated for his time. WWE threw quite a lot of titles on him over the years. I lost count of how many times it was IC champion, but there was just so many stops and starts coming in as the Nexus, the leader of the Nexus. Like that would have been like a really, really good stepping stone into something big in WWE. But then they had to John Cena him, and that just kind of didn't happen. And then. He changed up the whole gimmick and came back as Bad News Barrett, which is one of my favorite things. Absolutely adored that. And when he used to come out on the fucking thing up and goes up to the rafters and he's there like, dun dun dun, I bring up some bad news. I'm all in on that. I love me some Bad News Barrett. And then again, King gimmicks, not a fan. King Barrett, not so much. But he still he lived it because I think it helped that he was British, to be perfectly honest. But I love the ball hammer. I love his music. I love his look. I thankfully have had the honor of watching him wrestle a couple of times. Big fan of Wade Barrett, and I think he gets so overlooked that it's almost criminal. But now he's enjoying a second stint as well. Now as a commentator, which I think he's very good at as well. So yeah, Wade Barrett, number 8.
Interesting.
Yeah. Didn't see that coming.
I did not see that coming. Next up for me, I'm going to go with a guy who main evented a WrestleMania. Who first was on the map for me in the WWF Raw video game for Sega Genesis.
Oh.
He had a match against Bret Hart. He had a very unique look. He was an extremely agile, gifted big man. He fought Bret Hart in the King of the Ring final in 1993. But what I really remember him and got to know him for and got to appreciate him for was the run he had in ECW. Tremendously athletic and a good worker for his size and what he could do. And again, that unique look, intimidating, good stuff. I'm going with Bam Bam Bigelow.
Nice. Got him on my list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was more because it was BBB.
Makes sense.
I was like, oh, that fits.
I caught him in ECW and this was before I knew, like, when I really started to see ECW is when I realized, like, there was more than just WWF and WCW. That's all. I mean, I watched both. I watched WCW and WWF growing up, but I didn't know there was anything else outside of those two. I knew there were things that happened in Japan, but I didn't really think there was anything else. I thought NWA was dead and it became WCW. Granted, I was like little. I didn't really know what was going on. And then I saw ECW, became a fan of ECW, and then when I saw Bam Bam Bigelow, that was the first dude that I was like, because again, Bret Hart was my guy. And I remember the King of the Ring 93 final, and Bret fought Bam Bam, and Bret was all banged up, and Bam Bam was this big, intimidating dude. And so Bam Bam was like a big deal to me. And also the fact that he was in the video game was a big deal. So I saw him in ECW, and I was like, oh my God, like, to me, that was like, that's a fucking, like, main free agent. Oh my God, like, that's a big deal that this guy's here. Like, I didn't know these guys did that kind of stuff. And then he was in the triple threat with Candido and Shane Douglas, and their feud with Taz, which is still one of the best things ever. And Bam Bam Bigelow has two of my favorite wrestling moments of all time. One, when have you ever seen the clip when he puts Taz through the ring?
No.
Oh, Taz is choking him out. He's got him in the Taz mission, but in ECW it's called the Kata Hajime. He's got him, and he's on Bam Bam's back. Because Bam Bam's huge and Taz is small. And so Taz is trying to choke him out, and he's literally on Bam Bam's back, but Bam Bam's on his feet. And so Bam Bam stumbles, and then jumps backwards to slam Taz on the ring, and they go through the ring.
Oof.
And it was happening at a time when people weren't doing that. That wasn't a thing. It wasn't like, oh man, he went through the ring, and like, I've seen that before, but it's cool. You can see the reaction when it happens. Oh, I got goosebumps thinking about it. You got to watch it. It's one of those things where, like, it happens, and everybody's not like, oh man, they all stand up like, oh shit. Like, it's not like a spot. Like, they're like, yeah, exactly. Like, did that really happen? And even the ref is like, oh, like, he sells it really good. And then at my favorite pay-per-view of all time, ECW Heatwave 98, one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time, they have another match, and Taz tornado DDTs Bam Bam through the entrance ramp. Bam Bam comes out first and, like, stumbles down to the ring, and then Taz, so it's a callback to when Taz got put through the ring, but this time Taz gets up and comes out, and the crowd goes nuts, and he does the cutthroat symbol, and he charges down the ramp and jumps onto Bam Bam's back again, takes Bam Bam down, and then chokes him out on the ground. Oh, yeah, Bam Bam. I'm happy with this. This might be my favorite pick, especially for the value, but that's a good pick.
Very
Bam
good.
Bam. I think he passed away, I think.
Yeah, I think he has.
Which sucks. And I always forget that WrestleMania match against Lawrence Taylor. I always forget that it was the main event. I always think that Diesel versus Shawn Michaels was the main event, and it wasn't. And I don't know why I misremember that.
You wouldn't think it would be the case, though, would you? Really?
Yeah. But
easy mistake.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's the traction. It was in Madison Square. I think it was Madison Square Garden. And Lawrence Taylor was a big deal. And fun fact about that, Bam Bam was, like, basically doing a favor for putting Lawrence Taylor over and doing a good job with him. So Bam Bam was supposed to get a push after that, but Bam Bam wasn't a fan of the Clique and was upset with how much attention and all this shit that Shawn Michaels and Diesel and that whole fucking Clique were getting, and so he complained about it, and the Clique used their power to shit all over him, and his push got stopped.
Ah, man.
Typical example of Shawn Michaels just being another caring guy. God, I swear, I know what he is now, but damn, Shawn Michaels, and he'll admit it too, so it's like nothing new, but Shawn Michaels was such a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I can see that.
But he's one of the best of all time. He was great.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
I do like Shawn Michaels though, but piece of shit.
Of course. I mean, but it's like and he admits it, like, who he was, and he was so addicted to, like, different things, and he had a lot of mental stuff going on. But yeah, again, I think I hate having to do that and trying to be like, well, if you separate, the performer from the person, it's tough to do that in sports and life and entertainment of all. But if you're just looking at it from, like, an in-ring perspective, I mean, we spoke about it with Benoit earlier, and even though we're not drafting Shawn Michaels, I mean, it's hard to I mean, he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Maybe I don't even say wrestler, performer, whatever. And everything he was able to do after he came back from his injury and the matches that he had at Mania with Flair and Undertaker and, yeah, he was great. He is great.
Very good.
But I hate him.
A name just actually popped into my head then as well.
Oh.
It didn't make my list. Oh, you definitely wouldn't think that I would go for them either. Absolutely not. I don't think I'm going to go for them. I'm going to stick to my guns and go with the final two that I was going to go with. And we'll keep along the lines for my 9th pick. Good big men in wrestling. Bam Bam Bigelow, of course, being one of them. And one of the other ones was Big Boss Man.
Fuck you! I did not think you were going to take him. He's my next one. Son of a bitch.
The reason why I'm going with the Big Boss Man, because I haven't really I don't have that much exposure to him. However, he has the honor of being one of the, well, I say one of, he's one of two, one of the first wrestlers I ever saw in a match against Hulk Hogan Saturday Night's Main Event in a cage match. I forget the year.
When Hogan superplexes him off the corner of the cage?
That's the one.
Fucking sweet.
First match I ever watched. And, yep, he happened to be in there. So I've always had this kind of love for Big Boss Man because, like, the way he looked, like, surprised me. I was like, who the hell is this guy? And then he was, he was doing some pretty cool things. And then I loved the whole look he had when he reinvented himself. In the Attitude Era, the SWAT gear and stuff like that.
And he gets hung from a cell by the Undertaker.
That was interesting. But yeah, he is one of the best big men to ever do it, I would say, and I don't think I'd be far wrong in saying that.
I'm extremely upset
Again,
right now.
Underappreciated.
Extremely, extremely underappreciated. Oh, I really didn't think you were going to say Boss Man. I thought he was a really good wrestler. I liked his look. I had his toy, the blue cop shirt one,
nice.
From like the early '90s. I also got his autograph. He was at a mall in Buffalo, where I am from, when I was like 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that. They were doing a house show there, and he was at the mall signing autographs. I got his autograph when I was little.
Nice.
And I also, Big Boss Man. I think I've also told the story before. Big Boss Man was the first time I saw a wrestler wrestle where I knew they like used to be a bad guy and weren't always just a good guy or a bad guy. And I was watching videotapes. I think I was maybe like 4 or 5 or something like that when or maybe 6, and we would rent like the older wrestling videotapes every week. And I saw a match, and I believe it was a tag match, but it was like Hogan was in it. Bam Bam. Big Boss Man was in it. But when I saw the names, and I guess I didn't register on it. Again, I was like a little kid. I didn't register that it was like, oh, these two versus these two. But I saw the 4 names, and I was like, well, that doesn't make sense because Hogan's a good guy, and this other guy's a good guy, and Boss Man's a good guy. So these 3 guys are going to fight this one guy? That doesn't make any sense. And then Boss Man came out, and everybody was booing. I was like, what the hell's going on? And then he was doing all this bad guy stuff, and I was like, Big Boss Man's a bad guy? And I remember running to my parents, and I was like, he's a bad guy. Like, what's going on? And, like, I was so confused. Oh, fuck. And he was, really good, really athletic. He also had a cool WCW run. Well, not cool, but a decent enough one. Reinvented himself. Good wrestler. Cool finisher. The Boss Man Slam. Damn. I didn't think we were going to take him.
Boom.
Boom, roasted.
Nice.
Shit! I don't want to fucking play this game anymore.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, my night's ruined. I'm gonna go with a person who is one half of what I think is arguably the greatest tag team of all time. One of my favorite tag teams. Also had a really good singles run in Ring of Honor, but mainly in TNA. Was able to separate himself a little bit. Still does some things here and there in the wrestling world. My ninth pick, I'm going to go with Bubba Ray Dudley.
Interesting.
Or Bully Ray, if you want to go with that.
I did not expect that.
Obviously, I prefer him in the tag team. But on his own, he was good enough on his own. And obviously, I mean, being one half of the greatest tag team, or one of the greatest tag teams of all time, is extremely impressive. So he's my ninth there. Also, you took Big Boss Man, so don't talk about my fucking picks. Fuck you.
That's a good pick. Very good pick.
I guess I could have stolen him.
You could have.
Yeah, but I'm not about that life. That would have been also really dirty pool, knowing that you could have taken Bret Hart, but you didn't.
That's true. That would have been a dick
so thanks for doing me a solid, but fuck you. I'm taking Boss Man.
Fuck you, asshole. Yeah, that's very good. I missed a lot of his TNA run. There's snippets that I catch, like when you happen to just be scrolling through your timeline on Twitter or whatever, and you'll see something like, oh man, like I missed this whole like Bully Ray thing, and like it seems to be like a really cool character, and it's a shame I missed it. But
yeah, Aces and Eights was a decent thing for a while, and they had a cool run in the lead up to who was the leader, Aces and Eights, and then of course like everything in TNA, it got fucking destroyed because of fucking Hulk Hogan and Dixie Carter.
Interesting. Shock. Horror.
Interesting. Yes.
So I'm not gonna steal that. That was my last opportunity to steal, but I'm not going to steal it. So I'm going to steal free in this draft. And going into the 10th pick, I am torn between 3 people. I could actually. I'm actually torn between 4.
Oh boy.
To
or
be
5.
honest. Just 4.
Or 6.
Just 4.
Maybe 7 or 8.
Maybe.
You know why 6 is afraid of 7?
Because 7, 8.
9. Fucking right.
Yeah, baby. Whammy. See, everybody has an argument to be on here. Oh, it's tough. I'm gonna go with, and we do honourable mentions anyway. Once we've got our 10, so these people will still get their little spotlight. I'm going with Shelton Benjamin.
Fuck you! Are you fucking kidding?
Was that your number 10?
Yeah.
I love that.
That's wild.
I love it.
Oh, man.
But we can both appreciate them, can't we?
His favorite moment of mine isn't anything that he did for a move. Well, kind of is that his when he springboard jumps into that sweet chin music from Shawn Michaels is like one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. Beautiful.
And he also had a really good New Japan run.
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah. He has a good match with Shinsuke Nakamura. He's a really great wrestler. Super athletic. Friend of Brock Lesnar. Wrestled with Brock Lesnar. Yeah, he's sweet.
The Minnesota Stretching Crew.
There you go. I would have been happy to make him my 10, but you saw to that not happening because you're miserable and bitter.
Sorry about that.
Yep. You don't seem sorry.
I'm not.
Fair enough. You will be.
Ooh.
Like finding a new co-host.
I got lots of friends.
Fair enough.
I don't.
No one understands you like I do.
And to be fair, I couldn't be arsed building up chemistry with somebody all over again.
Tough.
Yeah.
So explain your Shelton Benjamin pick since you decided to rip him from my soul.
Well, he is part of one of my favorite tag teams of all time, the world's greatest tag team, with Charlie Haas.
And he wasn't part of the Hardys? He wasn't Shelton Hardy?
Dudley's, maybe.
Hardy Benjamin. Dudley Benjamin.
Dudley Benjamin.
Ray Shelton.
That sounds really good, actually. Bubba Ray Shelton. One and a half of one of my favorite tag teams. And then he branched off and obviously did his singles run, Gold Standard. Like, how many times? Well, I say how many times. You could make a highlight reel of all of his Money in the Bank moments. Like, if you needed somebody to really make the Money in the Bank matches stand out, especially those early ones, the first like 4 or 5 that you always seem to be in, you could call on him to give you a really decent, cool spot, and he always did. And that feeds into the athleticism that he has, and I don't know if he really, because I don't really watch wrestling WWE anyway at the moment. Well, no, that's not true. I do. Not Raw. I fast forward through Raw, and he is obviously on Raw, so I don't really get to see what he does these days. I think he still has a little bit of that athleticism, but maybe not as much as he used to. But you can put that down to age. But he's still good. He's still very good at what he does, and he's part of one of the biggest stables in WWE at the moment. So more power to him. But his earlier runs, top notch. One of the in-ring greats. Very, very good. Again, I would say underappreciated. It seems to be the common theme, but I do genuinely think that.
Fair enough. I'm very torn for my number 10.
You could steal.
I could, but I won't.
No.
I wanted Sasha Banks. And then in talking about Sasha Banks, I thought of putting Alexa Bliss on my list because I think she's one of the top 5 promos in all of wrestling.
It's fair.
But it's between her, Billy Kidman, who was a very good cruiserweight in his WCW time, and the first person who I ever saw do a shooting star press, which is pretty awesome.
Billy Kidman.
But I think... Oh, wait. Oh, fuck. I can just do... Oh, stupid. I was going to say Tully Blanchard. But instead of saying Tully Blanchard, I can just say the Brainbusters, which was the tag team of Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson.
Booyah. Why go for one when you can have 2?
Exactly. I actually thought you should have done that when you said Book Dust. You should have just done Book Dust.
Good point.
Gee, fair enough.
Good point.
The Brainbusters, yeah. I mean, I'm taking them because of their name in WWF, but they are more known for being 2 of the 4 horsemen, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. Really great tag team, though. Good run, although it was limited in WWF, but they're 2 of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time. Part of the, if not the most iconic group of all time in the 4 horsemen, and their runs with Ric Flair are what put the horsemen on the map. There are plenty of iterations. The one with Tully and Arn is not my favorite iteration of the horsemen, but I would say Tully and Arn and Flair, that run, and then as they had their 4th, like, rotate in and out and different people, that iteration of the Horsemen is arguably the Horsemen at its height and at its peak. Tully and Arn and Flair. And for as much as Flair did, and he was the leader, and how much charisma he had and what he did, that enforcer work of Tully and Arn and what they did with as being together in the Horsemen, but also as the Brainbusters, was pretty great. And 2 for 1 is good value, and I'm cool with that as my 10th pick.
That's a very good 10th pick.
Thank you very much.
Oh. Wow. There we go. We're there. We made it.
Yeah.
Whew. Now, as is always the case, at this point we do reel off our draft picks to summarize what we got, but unfortunately...
Go ahead and reel those off, since I know you know what they all are, because you wrote them down. Go ahead, Dits. Take it away.
I'm actually going to attempt to remember my 10 here. So, Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
Batista.
Yep, Batista was your 3. You forgot number 2.
Oh, damn it. Oh, my God. Finn Balor.
Yep.
Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, so Brock, Finn, Batista, Daniel Bryan. That's your top 4 in order.
Sasha Banks.
There you go.
Booker T.
Nope.
Damn
I
it.
forgot one before that.
Oh, it's got to be somebody on my list. Sure. Brood.
Yep, there you go.
Brood,
Sasha Banks, Brood,
Booker
T.
T. Wade Barrett.
There you go.
Wade Barrett. What number am I on? 8?
Wade Barrett was number 8, so you've got 9 and 10.
Big Boss Man and Shelton Benjamin. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
For the folks keeping record at home. Brock Lesnar, number 1. Finn Balor, number 2. Batista, 3. Daniel Bryan, 4. Sasha Banks, 5. The Brood, 6. Booker T, 7. Wade Barrett, 8. Big Boss Man, 9. Shelton Benjamin, 10. That is Team Dits here on this episode of Draft That. My team, a.k.a. the better team. Number 1, Bret Hart. Number 2, Bullet Club. Number 3, Big Van Vader. Number 4, Chris Benoit. Number 5, the Briscoes. Number 6, Bray Wyatt. Number 7, Aleister Black. Number 8, Bam Bam Bigelow. Number 9, Bubba Ray Dudley. And number 10, Brainbusters.
Some very good names in those 2 lists.
Very good. Mainly on mine.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's a good draft.
Yeah.
To see what the people think, even though they are easily swayed by your British charm and melodic voice.
Naturally.
Look at us. Look at us.
Look at us.
Naturally.
Who'd have thought it? Look at us.
Naturally.
Yeah. And well, like you said, that this will go up as a poll on the episode, as it always does, and you get to vote on who drafted the better picks. And if I remember, because I haven't done it for the last 2 draft episodes, I'll put the graphic up on the last day, so you can kind of make your decision based on that. If you haven't managed to catch the episode, which you absolutely 100% should have done at that point.
Shame on you.
Shame on you. But before we do sign off, I struggled with that number 10 pick. So my honourable mentions were Bayley, Becky Lynch, Big E, and the one that came to mind at the number 9 pick was Baron Corbin.
Gross.
Yeah, I figured you would think that.
Gross.
Yeah.
Becky Lynch is a cool one. I went through all mine. The only ones I had left were Billy Kidman, Alexa Bliss, Bobby Eaton, one half of the Midnight Express in its multiple iterations, but he is arguably the best and most famous of that. And then, everything else on my list got taken because you're cold and heartless.
Yeah, baby. I do have some more that, obviously, they were just my top 10. That was
Rattle them off.
Big Show.
Yikes.
Bobby Lashley. Shayna Baszler.
Oh, okay.
Bianca Belair.
The Bays. Oh, okay.
And that is it.
Bulk Bogan.
Bulk Bogan.
Good old Bulkster.
Bulkamania is running wild.
Ooh, what you gonna do, brother? Oh, that actually works.
God damn.
Gotta take your vitamins and say your prayers.
I love that. I like this concept. This draft thing. I think we'll keep this in house as we go along. Who won the first one?
I really think my roster was way better than yours, but you won, if I remember correctly.
I think I did.
You did. I think you won like 57-43.
Oh,
I think.
Okay, so it was close.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's not
I'm
British.
sure you probably voted for yourself.
Job.
You're like 74 different accounts.
I don't have.
You headlock talked me.
If they are listening, you fucking. We still owe you, or you still owe. Well, no, who owes who a rematch here?
We owe them, we beat them, so we owe them a rematch.
Yeah, true. Yes, that's the way. Yes.
Yes. Look at us.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Always culturally relevant. This podcast.
Grogu.
Who?
You serious?
You serious?
Have you not been watching The Mandalorian?
What's The Mandalorian? What are you talking about?
It's that guy. He does those magic acts in Vegas. His name is Grogu. We saw that lady in half.
Yeah, Grogu. Nice. Nah, I know who Grogu is. Come on.
Who?
Come on. Who? It's baby fucking Yoda.
The child.
The child. I love the Mandalorian.
You know, it's funny that we referenced that on my episode of Disguised Coverage last night. I always just make some. It just amuses me.
You mentioned Beskar.
I did.
It popped me.
Thank you. I'm glad.
It popped me.
I'm always down for oh yeah, give me a follow on Twitter and then just something stupid. And I was feeling the Mandalorian last night, so I went with some Beskar armor.
I was like, yes, because I literally had just watched Friday's episode, and I was just like, oh, Beskar. At first, I was like, what the hell's Beskar? And I was like, oh, freaking Mandalorian, yes.
I appreciate you watching my show. I guess you were doing some cleaning around the house.
No, I was just sat around doing nothing. I just thought I was on YouTube on the old TV, and I thought, oh, subscriptions. Oh, there's Disguised Coverage. I'll give it a listen. Support my boy.
Appreciate that.
Support my boy.
Just support me before you steal my picks.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I get it. It's cool. I get it.
Sorry
You
about
don't
that.
You don't seem sorry.
No, well, I'm not. But my way of saying sorry will be to let you lead off with the plugs. See, we've been sort of just mentioned Disguised Coverage, so you might as well elaborate a little bit.
A little bit. I guess I could. There's probably some people listening to this being like, whoa, Disguised Coverage? What's that? It sounds only like the coolest thing I've ever heard of in my life. And you would be correct in thinking that. It is the coolest thing you've ever heard of in your life. I am Anthony, co-host here on the Dow Pod, and the better looking one between the two of us.
Again, won't argue.
Yeah, you won't argue, and nor should you, but I appreciate you. Find me on Twitter at pro__ant. That's pro 2 ANT. Again, find me here every week as co-host on the Dow Pod, but also find me as the host of my own solo pod titled Disguised Coverage, part of the Cover One Sports Network. Whoa, text message from the wife. That you will find me on Disguised Coverage, part of the Cover One Sports Network, and you will find me breaking down anything and everything pertaining to the Buffalo Bills. Cover One is a fantastic football network covering the Buffalo Bills. Great content, great analysis, great breakdowns. I am part of that crew. That's me.
It's very good.
Thank you very much.
Very good. I don't understand. Like I always say, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I enjoy it. It's all about the host. It's all about the host.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I do. I never really have anything to plug these days.
You say it every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could follow us on Twitter at Project Dits, and the rest of the Project Dits crew was Wrestling Pod, the Hallway Wrestling Pod, and Plus Added Time. The Plus Added Time are like doing really well in Project Dits, by the way. Just thought I'd just shout them out. Yeah, Nathan and Dara, great team, great pod. Love listening to it every single week. Very good stuff. And I guess my thing at the moment is Twitch streaming. So you can catch me on Twitch, www.twitch.tv/Project Dits. Shock, horror.
Dits Twitch.
Dits Twitch. I am now an affiliate, so you can subscribe to me if you want to, or you can come in and do some cheers, or just come in and hang, have a good time. That's always chill. The next time you can... Well, if you're listening to this on release day, on the off chance, then stop by my Twitch channel tonight, because I am doing Lego Monday.
Oh, so, that sounds intriguing.
Stop on by. And if that's not your thing, then you can stop over on Force Friday, where I play Star Wars games.
I'm going to stop by and troll the shit out of you.
Do that and I will kill you.
I wasn't expecting that.
I've got my team too, you know.
Do that and I will kill you.
Yeah, feel free to jump in. Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, that's really all I have to plug.
It's damn good stuff. His Twitch is fantastic. And I'm not just saying that because we're friends and I'm on this show. It's very good.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Dits Twitch.
Dits
Hashtag Dits Twitch. I want to make that friend.
Dits
so
Twitch.
bad.
Dits Twitch. Dits Twitch.
Match two.
And as is always tradition, on the Dow Pod, Anthony has the honors of saying goodbye to you lovely folk who have taken the time out of your day to listen to our sultry tones. Take it away, Anthony.
It's important to go out. Why are you laughing?
No reason.
It's important to go out on a high note. And this is our first episode really back in rhythm. Last week was a bit of an intro, shooting the shit type episode as we came back from hiatus. This one's starting to get us back into rhythm before we take another little mini break and get started again in 2021. So there are a couple things I wanted to say and really address to everyone out there. Goodbye.